Good morning. I'm Sławomira Walczewska. I'm independent researcher and feminist activist. I was working many years on the women's history of the women's movement, and on the theory of history. This biographical and historical method in the same time requires biographies. So you learn about the history not only from texts, not only what you were reading, but also about what you are hearing from the other people, and how you can reflect yourself, and you learn also from your own memories. You need a wall or floor. Then you need something to mark the chronology in the form of line. It can be such simple way to do it, or it can be done with something more in some more decorative way, as you want. And this line should be approximately 3 meters long. Then you need cards in the same format is good. The half of A4 is very good. Then you need something to write on those cards, and you need something to attach those cards to those lines. So when you have a ready card, you can attach it to this line in different way. It depends on what you decide to use. For example, with tape, or if you can use also such material, or you can do it in more funny way and use, for example, something like that. The first step is to prepare some milestones for participants. Except of the cards you choose as milestones and add it to the chronology, it is good to prepare more cards, and during the workshop you invite participants of the workshop to add the cards of their choice to the chronology. They can both add the ready cards which you prepared before, or they have to have a chance to prepare their own cards. In this case, you can see the river of time on the floor. The cards are on the floor and they have different colors, which is connected with different meanings of those cards. So the white cards mark dates for gaining vote rights for women. As you can see, Finland was the first country in Europe where women could vote. Then next dates for gaining vote rights for women. Those dates are just quite easy to reconstruct, to find. Not so obvious and easy is to find more information about the history of the women's movement. The first card marks the year 1791. It is the year when Olympia de Gauche was killed for her feminist activity, for her declaration of rights of women and female citizens. She and her friends wanted vote rights for women, and for that she was killed in the French Revolution. Did you read about it in your reading books at school? Me not. You can see other dates connected to the history of the women's movement. Declaration of Sentiments from Seneca Falls, and then congresses. It was an opportunity for women from the women's movement in those times to exchange information, to support each other. Women's congresses. They were especially popular in the beginning of the 20th century. This date is very special. We had Women's Congress in Berlin and establishing of a global organization, first global feminist organization, International Women's Suffrage Alliance. And after that, similar organizations were founded in another countries the same year: Hungary, 3 years later Poland, Emily Davison. It's also important date of her death for women's rights. So, as you see, white cards mark the year when women gained political rights in different countries. Yellow cards are more connected to the history of culture, the famous book of Virginia Woolf, The Room of One's Own. And other colors are connected to different events from the women's movement. Participants are encouraged to find their own place in this river of time, in the history of the women's emancipation in this case. So you can see some cards which are added by participants with information about their own emancipatory steps in their own life. This exercise ends with discussion about the whole picture which will be created during this unit. So, starting with single cards and talking about the single cards, the group of participants is reflecting all the picture which was created commonly. So they reflect the structure, the dynamic of the process of women's emancipation. There are some phases some parts of this line when the cards are accumulated. There is many cards. There are some parts where there is more cards in white or more in yellow. So it happens a lot in the politics, it happens a lot in the culture. Such general reflection and discussion about it is, with such the discussion, the unit is finished.